Hello everybody, I just want to introduce you to somebody. Some of you will have met her before, but this is my kitty cat. My kitty. This is my cat, and I've decided to call my cat the Holocaust. So this is the Holocaust. Isn't the Holocaust really nice? The Holocaust is really sweet and cute and cuddly and so soft to the touch. It's just one of the loveliest things in my life, really, is the Holocaust. I think the Holocaust is just the nicest thing ever. Look what she does when she puts her little paw in my face. Isn't that sweet? Oh, meow meow. Aren't you a lovely little Holocaust here? Aren't you sweet? Yeah, you're the best thing ever, so you are. Meow meow. Yeah. Okay. I think you probably know what this is about. And it's not an easy thing to make a video about. I actually was at first convinced that what Variablast was doing was actually quite a good thing. And I still think that his intentions aren't bad. He is doing what he's doing, and I'm convinced of that he's doing what he's doing with the best of intentions. And if I think about it, of course in his case, obviously what he's doing is he's appropriated the word nigger, and he's made it to mean just human being. And he will use that word to talk about himself, and he will use that word to mean all of us are niggers. And on the face of it, that sounds like a very interesting approach. And I can even admire what he's trying to achieve. You have this word here that has this obvious negative connotation due to the way it has been used over hundreds of years, and this man is trying his damnedest to completely emasculate that word. And that is not in itself a bad thing to do. That is in itself quite laudable. And I have tried to do this myself. I have tried to make my own video in which I did, I joined in the attempt, and I tried to do it myself. But there was something always nagging at me in the back of my mind, and I wasn't sure what it was. And I've been following the whole situation over the last couple of weeks, and I've been looking at what people have been saying about it and what people's objections are to it. And many of the objections can be dismissed. You can, for example, point out that the word has such negative connotations to so many people, and you could quite validly argue, well, that is exactly what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to remove that. We're trying to make it something completely innocuous. But there's one thing that I can't get my head out of, that I can't talk myself out of. And that's what I illustrated there when I called my cat the Holocaust. You see, in the end, to people watching this video, people watching the start of this video, especially people who don't know me and don't know who I am, and what I sometimes do in videos where I kind of start off on one foot and then hop over to the other one in mid-video, leaving people kind of bewildered. They might think that I'm serious, and they might get a little bit upset. But the objections to that have already been explained by Variablast himself, for example, and those objections are in themselves relatively valid. But what is the problem here is that people still use the term in its original intent. They still use the word, let's just stick to the whole nigger thing, right? They use the word nigger, and they do mean it to be a denigrating term to be used to mean certain people. And this is the problem. I see his attempts to take the sting out of it as valiant attempts, but what they also do is confuse the issue. And I find it very difficult to deal with the situation that people have over centuries been abused with that term, or that at least that term was part of a whole complex of abusive ideas, abusive actions, and so on and so forth. And that history cannot be erased. And that is when we're getting to the crux of what I think is wrong with what Variablast is trying to do. That a word can change over time. That the way a word is being used can change over time is undeniable. Words do this all the time. It happens. But most of the time such things happen naturally. And the thing is, such things tend to happen because the original use of the word fades out of human memory, out of living memory. And therefore, nobody confronted with such words tend to make that original connotation anymore, tend to make the original connection of the word with its original meaning, its original use. And so the change of a word's meaning becomes natural. But that isn't true for the word nigger. People are still using that word in its original abusive intent, and people are still alive today who have been targeted by that word and who have felt the brunt of it and who have been discriminated against. And to them, the word nigger doesn't mean human being, no matter how hard Variablast tries to make it so. To them, it means the person who is using that word looks down on me and thinks of me as something less than themselves. And that leads me to my biggest objection to that word. The biggest objection to what Variablast is trying to do. Because even if you manage to succeed, if I managed to succeed in calling my cat the Holocaust, and worldwide managed to get it accepted that the Holocaust means nothing other than Pino's cat, that nigger means nothing other than human being. What we end up doing is divorcing ourselves from an important part of reality, of an important part of our history. We create a barrier between ourselves and understanding what has happened in the past and understanding what is objectionable to what happened in the past. By pretending, and that is what this is, by pretending that the word nigger means nothing other than simply human being, and that it should not be used in any other context than meaning nothing other than human being, we deny ourselves a deeper understanding in how that word has been used in the past, what effect it had amongst the bigger picture, obviously, of the whole abusive system of what it was part of, and we deny ourselves an insight into history. And if we start denying ourselves an insight into history, then we start forgetting history. And that is a very dangerous thing indeed. Because by the time we have completely forgotten how certain words could be used to hurt, to denigrate, and to put people in a place where they didn't belong, then we open ourselves up for something like that, for that sort of history to repeat itself. And we will just be sitting there, seeing the warning signs and not recognizing them for what they are. And that is why I believe it is important for that word to retain its meaning, as ugly and as nasty as it is, so we can talk about how ugly and nasty our history was and show it to an understanding person by example. Imagine if we could no longer talk about the Holocaust because we insisted that the Holocaust had to mean Pinot's cat. Then talking about what happened between 1940 and 1945 becomes an awkward, constipated, difficult issue. It becomes something that we need to talk about in strange, convoluted, hard to understand terms. We should be able to speak the words the Holocaust and know that people who hear it understand what that means. And we need to be able to use a word like nigger